We're going to be changing fractions to decimals in this video. This is lesson 10b. And I don't know if you've been following along, if you noticed, but in 10a, the previous video, I had lesson 9 written up here by accident. It's too long of a video to delete and start over again, so I hope you understand. So we're going to be changing fractions to decimals, and if you missed or skipped previous videos and become lost or confused, just click on the description for links. We can change a fraction into a decimal by remembering fractions are little division problems. I say that all the time. 3/8 means 3 divided by 8. The 8 would be out here as the divisor, and the 3 would be the dividend. See? We can add a decimal point and however many zeros we need to do the long division. Because 8 can't go into 3, but if we put a decimal point here, we can add a bunch of zeros and then have a decimal quotient. It turns out that 3/8 is equal to 0.375 as a decimal. We just add however many zeros we need to get a zero remainder. See? Now sometimes the quotient will have a repeating number, and no matter how much we divide, it's going to keep having the same subtraction. We get a 9, we get a 1, we drop down a 0, it makes a 10. We get a 9, we subtract, get a 1, drop down a 0, get a 10. And it'll keep repeating for 1/3. So what we do is we just write a 3 with a little bar over the top of it to show that it's repeating. Okay? But there's also another way. We can also write repeating numbers as a fraction of the decimal. For 3/11ths, we do 3 divided by 11. The 3's on the inside, the 11's on the outside. See that? So the 3 is the dividend and the 11 is the divisor. 11 can't go into 3, so we add a decimal point and however many zeros we need, and we're going to end up getting a 0.27. When we get down here, we can just say that this 3 is the numerator and the 11 is the denominator, and say it's 0.27 and 3/11ths. Now, if we kept going to try to get to 0, what would happen with this particular fraction is no matter how many zeros we added, we would keep getting a 27, 27, 27, and it would just keep going on forever. We would keep getting an 80, then a 30, then an 80, then a 30, then an 80, and then another 30. See, we drop down the other 0. And it would just continue being 27, 27, 27. So we can write it like this and say it's 0.27 and 3/11ths, because that's the numerator, that's the denominator. The remainder is the numerator. We can also say that it's 0.27 with the bar over the top of it like this one to show that the 2 and the 7 are repeating. Both of these repeat, so both of them have the bar over it. See? So it's 0.27 and 3/11ths, or it's 0.27 with the bar over it. Okay? But know that you can write this because the remainder is the numerator and that is the denominator. Okay? A unit price can be written as a decimal with a fraction. We talked about that in the last video, 10a. A can of food is 5 1/4 cents per ounce. What's the cost of 16 ounces? So 5 1/4 cents is like, if we were to write it like money, it would be 0.05 1/4. See? It's 5 1/4 pennies, right? And we need to multiply 16 by this 5 1/4, because if this is 1 ounce and we need to find 16 ounces, we need to multiply that by 16, right? We could also do 16 multiplied by 0.05 1/4 to solve this. So we need to change this 1/4 fraction part into a decimal digit. We do 1/4 as 1 divided by 4. We add a decimal point in zeros and find out that 1/4 is equal to 0.25. So this 5 1/4 cents could be written as 5.25 cents. Okay, that's the same thing here. But in true decimal form, because the only reason it works like this as a decimal is because we wrote the word cents after it. If we wanted to write it in true decimal form, we'd have our 5 cents, that 0.05, and we would take this 25 and add it at the back end of this decimal. That's the same thing as 5 1/4 cents. See? I know this can be confusing, so if you have to watch the video a second time, it's no big deal, okay? So all we have to do is find out what that fraction of the decimal is in a decimal, and we don't put the decimal point in front of the 25 like we did here, because that was the 4th. We keep it way over here, but we just add the 25 on the back of the decimal we've already got, see? So if this is 1 ounce and we need 16 ounces, we need to multiply this decimal, this 0.025, by 16. All right? Remember, parentheses means multiplication. You can quickly do it on your calculator, or you can do it by hand and do it multiplying a 2-digit number. Just remember, however many hops for the decimal is in the equation is how many go in the product, okay? So we'd end up with 0.84, which is 84 cents. That would be the cost of 16 ounces, okay? We have a 24-pound bag of dry dog food that costs $32.90. So what's the cost per pound? We need to take this $32.90 and split it into 24 separate equal parts to find out how much it costs per pound. Because here's 24 pounds for one price. How much would 1 pound be? So we divide the $32.90 by the 24 pounds. We do our division, and when we get down here, let's start from scratch. We've got 32. 24 goes into 32 one time. That's 24. 24 times 1 is 24. We get an 8 when we subtract. We drop the 9 down. 24 goes into 89. 4 times is too big, so 3 times is better. So we're going to put a 3 here. Doing multiplication on the side can help you in long division, can't it? So that's going to be 72. We do our subtraction and get a 17. 24 can't go into 17. We drop down the 0. It's 170. We see that 24 times 7 is 168, so we put a 7 there. We do the subtraction and get a 2. Now we can write it as a fraction. We've got $1.37 and 2 24ths, numerator, denominator, and that can be reduced to 1/12. So we've got $1.37 and 1/12 per pound. See? Basically what we did was $32.90 over 24 as a fraction, and because it's division, it would equal $1.37 and 1/12 of a cent per pound, okay? So when we're doing fractions to decimals, remember, we're doing 5 divided by 6 and then adding a decimal point and some zeros to help us finish. So this would be 6 goes into 5 no times, 6 goes into 50 8 times, 6 times 8 is 48. Do our subtraction, get a 2. We drop another 0 down, 6 goes into 23 times, 6 times 3 is 18. We do our subtraction, get another 2. And we would have to drop another 0 and another 0 and another 0. And what would happen is it would continue on as 0.833333333, and it would just keep going. See? So we could stop here after a couple places and say it's 0.83 and 2/6, numerator, denominator. And the 2/6 can be reduced to 1/3, so it's 0.83 and 1/3. Or if it's like this, we can say it's 0.8 and then the 3 with the bar over top showing that the 3 is repeating. If you know anything about the old records, the old vinyl records that music used to be on, and some DJs still use them, but you'll notice that it'll say the RPM, the revolutions per minute for the record to play, is 33 and 1/3. So that would be like 33.333, see? With the repeating, okay? So it's like that, if that makes any sense to you, all right? Now there's one last thing I want to show you before we end here. There's fraction to decimal conversions that'll help you if you just remember them. If you know 1/10 is 0.1, because that's the tenths place, just keep that in mind when you're doing your math. And 1/100th is 0.01, because that's the hundredths place. If you can remember that half is 0.5, 1/4 is 0.25, 3/4 is 0.75, 1/3 is 0.3 with a line over it, or 0.33 with the line over it, showing it repeats. That means 2/3 is 0.66, because this is double of that. So double of 33 is 66, isn't it? 1/8 is 0.125, and if you know 1/8 is 0.125, you can find 7/8, 5/8, 3/8, 11/8, whatever it is, 9/8, whatever it is. Because all you're doing is taking the 1/8 as 0.125 and you multiply it by that numerator, and you will know what the decimal version of that fraction is. See? It's 3/8 would just be 0.125 times 3. See? Multiplied by the numerator. 5/8 would be 0.125 times 5 because it's 1/8 times 5. See? If this is 1/8, then 5/8 would be 5 of these, wouldn't it? It would be times 5. See? So if you can remember some of the basic fraction to decimal conversions, that's going to help you go faster on the test. Okay? So now you should be ready to do the skill focus on page 123, and I hope you do well. Just remember, if it says per ounce, per pound, per serving, then it's a unit price. That means 1 ounce, 1 pound. If it says $3 per ounce, that means it's $3 for 1 ounce. Okay? And that's what you'll use for your math problem. We're going to be using decimal and fractions in a standard grid in our next video. We've talked about writing in our answers on a standard grid before, but now we're going to be doing decimals and fractions and working with problems doing it, okay? I'm going to have links to my decimal 4 and 5 videos, to these grade 4, grade 6, and previous videos from GED Math to help you out if you need them, okay? And like I said before, if you have some problems, watch this video a second time. A lot of people do it. I have several people who have passed the GED and told me they've had to watch a video a couple times before it sunk in. But that's okay. If that's what gets you to success, who cares? Watch it again, okay? All right. I'm wishing you luck on the skill focus. If you have trouble, go back and study some more before you move forward. If you do well, I'll see you at the next video. All right? Bye.